Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We have spring blasts on the way, plural, not just one of them. We've got a number of them actually coming through with windy westerlies, as you can see here, and followed by colder south to southwesterlies, which you can see further down the map. Today's wind map shows where the energy is, in other words, where the windiest weather is, which you can see in the bright colours here. So brighter means windier, and that's what we're seeing as these windy westerlies arrive. I always feel like when I say the windy westerlies are arriving, it sounds like you've got some distant relatives that are kind of annoying that are showing up on your doorstep. So the windy westerlies turn up, and that means that eastern areas are drier and warmer. Here's a good example for you. In some of the places where it snowed yesterday, Southland and very inland parts of Canterbury up near the mountains and the higher level plains, we are seeing today daytime highs of plus 14 to plus 19 degrees. And that is a very typical spring setup when the airflow now comes out of Australia with those windy west to northwest winds. So today's warmer, but Friday gets colder and much windier as well. But we'll kick off with the rainfall that's expected for the next 3 days as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the biggest totals are further down on the west coast, so Fiordland and southwestland. We're talking about 150 to maybe even closer to 200 millimetres falling over those 3 days. But you've only got about 80 to 100 millimetres further north, and as you go into the North Island, much lower totals. Although around Mount Ruapehu, you've got a bit of a southerly coming through on Saturday. That will increase some of your precipitation levels as it falls as rain a little bit lower down, but there is some more coming through on Saturday as that southerly comes in. And we've got snow, as I just mentioned, so we've got that cold southerly turning to snow. Not a huge amount, but maybe 10 centimetres for Mount Ruapehu, and a light dusting going down onto maybe State Highway 1, also along the ranges down towards the lower North Island, and we'll be seeing snow flurries all along the South Island ranges. The Southern Alps getting the bulk of that snow with the heavy falls here, with potentially 50 centimetres of snow. There's also a dusting of snow coming into some of the lower level areas, very similar to what we saw yesterday. It may not have a big headline around it because it's not really a huge amount of snow, but you might just get a light dusting once again coming in off the mountains and ranges into some of the lower level areas, but again, it won't be much, and that's over the next 3 days as we've got these systems coming through. So let's explain how it is all happening as we look at Friday's setup. Severe gales, hurricane force gales in this area here, central New Zealand, the upper South Island, the lower North Island. Those areas there, very strong winds. We've also got that southerly coming into the South Island, and when you track the origins of the isobars, Antarctica. So this is a cold southerly, but it is brief because once that moves through, as we go through Friday, by the end of the day, back come the westerlies just south of Australia. Back come the westerlies, the relatives turning up in their car with all the kids piled in the back. That's the westerlies. Okay, let's take a look at those winds a little bit more detail on Friday. Strong gusts all through these mountain ranges here. Now, potentially seeing winds of 100 to 150 kilometres an hour, maybe 160. But also notice there are some calm spells further to the east, as you can also see down around Kaikoura. That's as those winds bounce. They come off the mountains, they hit the ground, they bounce back up again, and sometimes you end up with lulls, calm areas. But I have to say, this is just one snapshot taken on Friday. This will be moving and going northward, so as it goes through the day, it'll all move around a wee bit, but basically the areas in pink and purple have the worst weather on Friday, the worst winds. On Saturday, those winds move up and out to sea. The worst of them here around Mahia Peninsula. You've got a southerly. The good news is Hawke's Bay, you get a bit of wet weather coming through with those cold wintry southerlies. It'll be snowing along the ranges and snowing around Central Plateau as well. But the South Island dries out on Saturday and calms down ahead of the next sort of surge of windy weather coming in for Sunday. But it will be colder in the North Island on Saturday and Saturday night. Speaking of Saturday, a big happy birthday to Craig Pemberton in Palmerston North, turning 65. I'm sorry, Craig, but the weather forecast isn't too flash. But to me, that's a good excuse to sleep in and make your family come to you. So therefore, you get to have all the treats and presents brought to you. You just stay in bed as long as you can. So it's a bit of a windy, cold Saturday for you in Manawatu. But as the day wears on, the sun will start to come out. Or if the sun doesn't come out, the rain should at least start to ease. But like I say, it is a bit cold on Saturday night, especially in the northeast corner, Marlborough of the South Island and all up that eastern side of the North Island, spilling over into Bay of Plenty and around the Kaimai Ranges and the eastern side of Waikato and also some parts of Northland. Not everyone is going to be below average, like most parts of Auckland City, Hamilton, and even getting down into around Taranaki and down towards Palmerston North itself, actually on the borderline there. So sort of leaning west, you're a little bit milder, leaning east, definitely colder as we go through Saturday night. On Sunday, there's high pressure to the north, northwesterly winds blowing back through. That means severe gales coming back to the South Island on Sunday. So through the Southern Alps, again, gusts from 100 to 150 kilometres an hour through those areas. Lighter winds further to the east, but still blustery as we go through Sunday. The next lot of rain is coming through. This is the next 3-day rainfall, starting from Sunday through to Tuesday. Look at this area here. 200 millimetres or maybe more. So this is a lot of heavy rain coming in for the west coast. And again, it spills over further to the east, but the further east you are, the lower the rainfall totals, and same with the further north you go up the North Island. But plenty more rain still to come through, and that means more snow on the way. And again, most of it through the Southern Alps, but there could be some spillover. Look at this, comes into the Canterbury Plains a little bit, same around Otago, and more dustings of snow for the North Island. This is very typical spring weather coming through. So Monday, windy nor'westers, and you've got that surge coming through here. So there's another burst of windy weather on Monday. So this is the next set of areas that get it. Not quite as intense as the winds we've got coming up for Friday, for tomorrow. But Monday's wind is still very blustery, gale force conditions all the way through this area here. So certainly spring is with us. And our final map for Tuesday, in fact, I think we've got Wednesday in here as well. So Tuesday shows that rain and wind moving up into the North Island. It's another wintry cold day for some of you in the south. You can see that blue line indicating that colder airflow coming through from the Southern Ocean. Here's the final map for Wednesday. So it's not looking very warm next week. The high's out here, it's a big one. And because it's southern, down around south of Tasmania, it scoops up air south of New Zealand off the map and brings it up. So it'll be a bit of a cold middle part to next week, and even as that moves in, it'll lock in that cold. So not looking especially hot for the next wee while, but this is sort of normal weather for this time of the year, even with all the severe weather warnings that are going to be issued by Met Service over the coming days, which, by the way, you can now get live off the Weather Watch website. And that is all from me. Have a good few days ahead. We'll be back again tomorrow. So if you're still watching, we'll be back on Friday with our next update. And we'll also be back on Friday with our global weather update, taking a look at severe weather around the world. There are 2 or 3 tropical storms to keep an eye on. So we'll be back on Friday. Plenty more work still to do. We'll see you then.